Intelligence forecasts suggest that by 2026, the Middle East will settle into a fragile, armed peace, following a kinetic military collision between Israel and Iran. That conflict leaves behind severe power vacuums. In Syria, the Ba'athist regime collapses, replaced by a fractured shadow government attempting to administer Damascus. This map tracks the ripple effects. As central authority fails, the landscape dissolves into isolated nodes. Gaza faces a severe governance vacuum, while mobile ISIS insurgent bases begin to occupy the empty stretches of the Syrian Badia. To a contemporary analyst or institutional investor, this landscape appears chaotic, driven by the unique pressures of modern warfare. This systemic fragmentation acts as the region's baseline historical engine. For 2 millennia, this cycle of collapse and rapid reconstitution has defined the geopolitical landscape. In 132 CE, Simeon Bar Kokhba led a massive, organized armed Jewish resistance against the Roman Empire. This rebellion established a short-lived independent state. Within months, it organized local authorities, leased state land, and minted its own currency to fund the war effort. Then, Rome deployed overwhelming military reinforcements. The rebellion was crushed, and the state collapsed under the weight of the legions. All that remained were fragments, subterranean hideouts in the desert, buried hoards of coins, and personal letters from Bar Kokhba himself. This collapse illustrates the shattering phase of the region's engine. Centralized power and identity are broken back down into raw, disconnected pieces. We observe the mechanics of reassembling these pieces in Old Cairo. Inside the Ben Ezra synagogue, researchers uncovered a hidden storehouse containing 280,000 documents. This was the Cairo Genizah, a hoard of worn-out, discarded Jewish manuscript fragments spanning from the 9th to the 14th centuries. These fragments were then scattered a second time. They were shipped to libraries and private collections across multiple continents, destroying their original context. Modern codicologists use digitization to solve this problem. As this Bodleian Library report details, the challenge is finding matches among 280,000 individual pieces. Researchers use AI handwriting matching to connect disparate data points, virtually reuniting documents separated for 1,000 years. The effort to stitch history together from these scraps reveals a larger pattern. These same mechanics of reassembly are currently defining how the region builds its modern identity. In the early 20th century, the local economy was strictly agrarian. Early farming communities operated with almost no industrial baseline, facing severe physical vulnerability. Out of survival necessity, the state channeled massive resources into military and defense technology. This acted as an incubator for high-tech innovation, leading to early, complex electronic engineering like the Weizsäck computer. In the 1990s, nearly 1 million highly educated Russian immigrants arrived in a single wave. The number of scientists and engineers doubled practically overnight. The state stitched this sudden surge of human capital into its existing defense infrastructure. This transition turned the agrarian society into a scale-up nation, now featuring dozens of billion-dollar tech companies across the Tel Aviv skyline. This high-tech ecosystem is a systemic response to existential threats. In the Middle East, extreme pressure and vulnerability provide the raw materials required to build resilient, assembled systems. Returning to the 2026 intelligence forecast, we can re-examine the landscape through this structural lens. New lines of connectivity and trade routes are already beginning to link the scattered nodes. Water scarcity crises, maritime threats in the Red Sea, and intense competition between Gulf powers represent the current phase of the cycle. These institutional voids provide the raw, fragmented materials for the next inevitable phase of regional assembly. Regional volatility powers a cycle of reinvention, ensuring its perpetual survival.